It's time for the Douglas Coleman Show. Mr. Smooth and Savvy is joined by guests from all walks of life, from the entertainment industry to authors to political and social commentators, the famous and not so famous, the controversial and the light and fluffy. We have it all. Now, here's Douglas Coleman.
Howdy, ho. Hey, ha. How are ya? Welcome to the Douglas Coleman Show. It's me, Douglas Coleman, as always. Thank you for joining us. We've got Kimberly Friedmutter here today. Kimberly is a master hypnotist and NLP trainer. She has appeared on many shows on national television, Entertainment Tonight, The Doctors, TLC, and she has a large list of Hollywood A-listers as her clients. I won't mention names, but if you go to Google and search her, you'll see all the pictures. I will mention one because she's kind of my hero. That Martha Stewart is one, and I love Martha. I think she's great. Anyways, Kimberly is on the show today. We had a great conversation. It's funny. It moves very quickly. The time will go by very fast. For more information on Kimberly, you can check out her website at KimberlyFriedmutter.com. That's spelled Friedmutter.com. And you can check out everything that she does. So, full show interview. We will be right back with Kimberly Friedmutter.
You're listening to Mr. Smooth and Savvy right here on the Douglas Coleman Show. We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Hi there, this is Stuart Epps, record producer. This is my story about Elton John, working with him in those early years, going back to 1967 at Dick James, all the amazing tours, those first recordings, going through to Rocket Records, and it's an amazing story about his incredible rise to stardom and my part in that. So look forward to taking you on that journey. So here we go. Yeah, and to order this great audio CD, please just email me at stuartepps@talk21.com. That's Stuart, Stuart, Epps, EPPS, at talk, TALK, 21 in figures.com. Stuart Epps at talk21.com. Email me and I'll give you all the details for buying this brilliant audio disc. Thank you, bye.
DJC Music and DJC Productions are pleased to announce a brand new website. We have started a listing website for radio show hosts as well as potential show guests. This is a meeting site where hosts and guests can come together. Show hosts can list their show and types of guests they're interested in booking. Potential guests can list their talents, bio, accomplishments, or anything they feel makes them an interesting radio show guest. There are no recurrent payments, only a one-time $5 listing fee. Your listing will stay up until you decide to cancel. Previous guests of The Douglas Coleman Show are welcome to submit their guest listing free of charge. Go to radiohostsandguests.com. That's radiohostsandguests.com.
Tired of living in a culture of lies, fake news, and alternative facts? The Pro-Truth Pledge reverses the tide of lies by calling on politicians, and everyone else, to commit to truth-oriented behaviors. The pledge asks signees to commit to 12 behaviors that research in behavioral science shows lead to truthfulness, such as clarifying one's opinions and the facts, citing one's sources, and celebrating people who update their beliefs toward the truth. Private citizens who sign the pledge get the benefit of contributing to a more truth-oriented society. Public figures get more substantive rewards for signing the pledge in the form of positive media and public recognition. The pledge crowdsources the truth by asking volunteers to evaluate the statements of public figures who sign the pledge. Take the pledge, demand that your elected representatives do so, and encourage your friends to take it at protruthpledge.org.
Acclaimed author of Garden, Jane Yates brings you the first book in a new trilogy, Octopus Pirate, a story of a foundling who has unusual talents. such as the ability to communicate with octopuses. As a baby, he was washed up on an island off the Scottish mainland. An eccentric former nun who lives alone with cats brings him up. He joins a circus and narrowly escapes plots against him, flees to Cornwall, builds a replica pirate ship that's also an airship to travel back in time to fight real pirates. Get your copy today from Amazon, only 99 cents.
Are you an independent musician? How would you like to have your songs played on hundreds of radio stations just like the one you're listening to right now? Join MusicSubmit.com and we'll promote your music to radio stations and blogs in your genre. It's free to set up your account, and we guarantee your music will be considered for airplay by radio stations worldwide. Why not sign up today? It's free. MusicSubmit.com. Radio promotion for indie musicians.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Ooh, don't know my own strength.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Okay, please welcome to the Douglas Coleman Show, Kimberly Friedmutter. How are you, Kimberly?
I'm so good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you very much. When I was reading through your bio, I wasn't quite sure what to call you. Let's see, board-certified Master Hypnotist and NLP trainer. Okay, I don't even know what NLP is. Why don't you tell us that?
Well, it's neurolinguistics programming. And so that's really just, I think, great for everyone to have in their toolbox, so to speak, of how they know what words are that people are using and how they use their words and tone and all these kind of things. It's all human relations, but I think the hypnotist is a good start. So we call it hypnotist, hypnotherapist. You know, being in Las Vegas, I'm a little careful about the hypnotist part because people say, where and when is your show? So because I have long red hair and, you know, I wear, kind of fun colors and things, and people think that it's a stage show thing, but really it's clinical hypnosis, which is quite different. And the book is basically about how to work through inner workings of the subconscious.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about hypnosis, because I know there are people that don't believe that it works. They don't even believe it exists. There has been, like you said, there's been charlatans who do a Las Vegas show based on it, dressed as Stevie Nicks and, with the smoke and all that. Mm-hmm. But I think that there is been proven, effective cases of people that, and when you said clinical hypnosis, I'm assuming you mean like people get hypnotized to stop smoking, to lose weight. Those are the two that come to mind right away. Is that more what you do?
Health. Yeah,
better health.
Absolutely. You're 100% right. You're right on every front. So what happens is, I don't know that it's really charlatans making the distinction between entertainment hypnosis, which would be stage show hypnosis, and the difference between that and then what we call a clinical or therapeutic hypnosis. So in other words, a smoker isn't going to have that happen on stage with pigeons and doves and other, magic-y kind of tricks, right?
Right.
Smoke a pigeon. I don't know. So the idea is that there is that distinction between the two. Clinical hypnosis is exactly what you said. It is when you have an issue, you have a problem, you have an addiction, you have trouble sleeping, you have a weight issue, whatever those things are. It can be, malaise. It can be failure to launch. It can be just not feeling like you. It can be being hypnotized for enhanced performance. A lot of my clients, as you'll know, as you do some research, is that they're very high-performing clientele. And the reason is because they're used to direction. They're used to seeking out experts. They're used to having an issue and taking care of it, nipping it in the bud, or elevating their performance, such as a sports athlete or someone that's in the entertainment business wanting to, have more stamina or whatever. The reason clinical hypnosis works like this is because the larger part of our mind is the subconscious. We're double-minded. We have consciousness, which is your task maker and your calendar keeper, and that's the things that you know consciously. And then just below the layer of consciousness is subconsciousness, hence sub meaning below. And that below layer does all the other things. Am I safe? Do I have food? Do I need to migrate? Am I nomadic? Am I hungry? Am I soothing a pain? Am I nursing a hurt? All of those things. So when you dream at night, that's your subconscious. It's all of those images coming up from the day, like your inner stenographer was taking notes, and it dumps things that are no longer useful or ecological for you. So the subconscious is something that we don't, when you say people don't know if it works, what happens is you have this mechanism in your mind and you're already using it. In fact, you go into trance so many times a day that it feels like that daydream state, when you just drift off like you might be doing now listening to me talk.
No, not at all.
You just literally drift away, right? And that's good. That's called zoning out. And, from school age, from the time we're school age, the teacher's tapping on the board saying, Johnny, get your attention back in the room, focus, focus, focus. Well, focusing isn't all it's cracked up to be. I think we're a little focused out by now. And so that zoning out stage is where those inspirations and those aha moments and those, I wonder if I did this versus that, how that would work out. All of those things come to an open, flexible mind. And that's the beauty of trance, is that we're constantly in a trance state. Like your screensaver mode, your computer doesn't just keep running and running and running. It goes into sleep mode. And that sleep mode is where all of these things come. So hypnosis really is, and trance really is, just a deep state of relaxation, which you already go into, not order up necessarily because it's not a conscious process, but you enter that many times a day without even being aware of it.
Well, I really like the analogy of the screensaver mode. That's perfect because I can just completely visualize that. I am also, aside from being a show host, I'm also a singer-songwriter. I have been for most of my life. And I understand that trance mode because that's the sort of place I have to get to before I can start writing, before I can start creating. You got to clear the junk out of your head. You've got to clear out that voice in your head that's constantly reminding you of your social calendar. Oh, I got to do this tomorrow. I got to go here tomorrow. I got to do you got to just stop that thing. And then once that happens, and I'm sitting at a piano just kind of diddling the keys a bit. Then the thoughts come in. Oh yeah, okay, this works and that works. But let me get back to hypnosis for a second. There are people that have said, and I've heard, that hypnosis won't work unless you want it to. Is that correct?
In part, that's correct. So I couldn't get you to go rob a bank. If I hypnotized you and I had you in that trance, dreamy, sleepy state, I could suggest that you make more money, and I could figure out ways that you've suggested that this would be possible for you. But I couldn't get you to go do something that you didn't want to do. Now, it would be loads of fun, if you played along and we were on the stage and I said, oh my gosh, on the count of 3, you're going to, clap your hands 3 times and XYZ. That's compliance for entertainment. That's very different. So no, I could not make you do something that you didn't want to do. If you were absolutely adamant about it, then your subconscious is locked into that pattern and you are not going to shift it. And also, you wouldn't want to even come to me for something that, you didn't want to change. I mean, that's the first and foremost. My clients, they come. And so that's the first thing is, gee, I'd really like to alter this behavior, or I'd like to shift into this different perspective because I don't like my mate right now and I really want to. And so how can I do that? We run love models. Love models are kind of interesting. You might like this. Is that one time I was hired to keep basically a marriage together in the sense that the co-star, or that the star wouldn't fall in love with their co-stars as they had been prone to do in previous films. And they had really, as you can imagine, mucked up their private life. And so I was hired to keep that from happening, and it worked beautifully. And so things like that, because the person really wanted to stay married and really wanted to stay in a monogamous relationship and really didn't like that aspect of their personality to roam. And so you look at something like that where you say, gee, to some people that might seem fine, and to other people it's absolutely a deal breaker. So it really is whatever that client wants, whatever the person. Now, for reading the book, what's great about this is it's the most selfish self-help book you would ever buy, because it's all about you. It's your thoughts, your memories, your dreams, your aspirations, every single thing about you, your mind. It's simply just a handbook or a guide of how to work it to your advantage. So our subconscious mind, every experience that you've had since you came into this experience is recorded by your internal stenographer. So that's all of those thoughts that you have, the ideas that you have, the perspectives that you have. People call them filters. When someone just blurts something out and they say, oh my gosh, you need to tighten that filter up.
Right.
Well, what happens is we develop those filters throughout every day of our life. The things that we even see that we don't know we see. Millions of bits of information are coming in through your eyes alone without you even realizing it. And then maybe you have a really crazy cartoon dream, in Technicolor, and you think, where did that come from? That's so bizarre. But it came from all of the things that you absorbed during the day that you either heard, smelled, touched, saw, all of those little touchy-feely kinds of things that happen to us in a day that we don't give conscious awareness to. That's the subconscious, and that's the power it has. It runs the stream of information throughout your entire day and night.
How long does all that stuff stay in your storage? Because sometimes my dreams are wild, and, I can remember some of them when I wake up, but it wasn't something that happened to me that particular day. It could have been something that happened 20 or 30 years ago. Does this stuff stay in your brain forever?
So it can, sometimes we dump information that we don't need anymore if we're bringing in, like say a college student, for example, is bringing in so much new information that they might start dumping old in order, to have the new be at the surface. The things that are coming up, like you mentioned for yourself, I would ask, and this is kind of a neat thing that people don't realize they can do until they do it, is you can talk to your dreams in your dreams. So for example, let's say you have one of these wild dreams that you speak of, you could actually say, let's say like a three-headed monkey comes to you and comes, galloping toward you on its knuckles. and you are puzzled by this and maybe somewhat mortified, but you can ask it, what are you doing here and what do you need from me? How can I help you? Why are you here? What do I need to know? You can ask it anything you want, or you could simply tell it, go away, I don't like you, whatever. You can talk in your dreams. Once you know this and you start doing this, because some people are really mystified for many, many years, if not decades, by things that they dream and the recurring dream, and they can't figure it out. Ask it. Simply ask it, because remember, your mind is your mind. And in your mind, you can do anything you want. You can have full conversations. There was a time where I was doing with Brian Weiss, who's very well known for Many Lives, Many Masters, the book. And he was hypnotizing a group of us to just see whatever we saw and whatever came. And there were these shadows, and I couldn't tell what the shadows were. They were moving, so I knew that they, had moved and were alive, but I couldn't see what it was, if it was a human, an animal, whatever. So I just asked it to come closer, so I can see what you are. And so sure enough, the shadows move and move and move. And I think that it's a giraffe by the shape of it. And as it comes closer, I see that it's actually a dinosaur. Oh. So you keep asking, come closer so I can see you. There was a mist and fog around it. It was all in black and white for some reason, the visual. And so I said, could you please add some color so I can see what you are? Can you please come closer? Can you please come out of the fog so I can see what you are? So you literally can guide these thoughts while you're thinking them. That's powerful stuff, because I know people are crippled many times by, mentally crippled by the dreams they have, or the quandary and the drama and the thing, and they're literally stalled in their development and in their evolution from these images, when it's so simple just to address it. I mean, I promise you, easiest thing in the world. Is there any truth to, I know that psychological studies, and Freud, I think, was even dabbling in this, about analyzing people's dreams. Is there anything to gain out of that? If you dream this, it means this. Or is there any truth to that at all? There are very broad descriptions of things and what they mean, and I use those for entertainment, because there's a lot of different things. Like, for example, if you lose your teeth in a dream, does it mean that your marriage is falling apart, or does it mean that you have a chipped tooth and you need to go to the dentist or a cavity brewing? I don't know that, and it's very well studied, but it's not very well solidified in the, what they came up with that. There's a lot of broadness there. And so, because interpretation, if you think about it, what does it mean to you? What did it mean to you? So when people come to me with dreams, and I'm not a psychic person and I'm not any of that, I'm a scientist, but when people come with dreams, I say, tell me the context of it. What was the dream? And usually there's a bigger picture that points to the context. So, whatever that is for you really matters, because I don't think you can just say teeth and look it up, because you can come up with 15 different interpretations if you were to look to a book, or maybe they're all the same. It's very, very highly personal. I do know this, is that dreams come from the subconscious. I know that you can shift them to benefit you. I know that if you have scary ones, you can get yourself out of them. You can literally go turn on the light, like not physically go turn it on, but in a dream, you can go turn on the light. You can go call for help. You can do all these things to assist yourself during a dream so that you don't have to wake up, feeling bad. Because my whole point in life is to get through this life feeling good, feeling joy, loving others, making a good difference. Whatever those positive things are, that's the goal. So if you can do anything with your own mind, because that's your domain, you own this thing called mind, and it does have subconscious power, which is the title of the book. Subconscious power. Use your inner mind to create the life you've always wanted. And this is if you're waking, or this is if you're asleep. It doesn't matter when. It's you get to create with your inner mind, your subconscious power, period. And I feel very strongly about that, because people feel, a lot of times like people are moving them around in their day and this and that is not up to other people to move you around in your day. You are in control and have complete agency over your mind. And subconscious power shows you how to do that.
Okay, so how would somebody use your book to fix something in their life that they're unhappy with?
I cover everything in the book. I cover anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, addiction, depression, sleeplessness, poor health, poor lab work, friends in need, family in trouble, elevated performance, how to go from star to superstar. Martha Stewart, Jennifer Hudson, Mike Tyson, Reverend Michael Beckwith. It covers really everything in this book. There's a few lists that it hit that I'd love to run through real quick if you're up for it.
Sure.
That shows you the breadth of it. So it was listed as 11 books on how to express gratitude, best gifts to wow your son, best spiritual books, reading list for improving your career, entrepreneurs reveal their favorite books on leadership, unique gift ideas your sister will love, inspiring books on femininity, 5 leading books on feminism. So it hit the same coin, different sides, right? Philosophy is approachable with this book. The most important book about success you probably haven't read, and that's by Forbes. CNN listed it as Amazon's best-selling book for the ultimate beach read. So here is the breadth of the list that it hit, because guess why? If you have a brain, you're in the game, and everybody has one, right? And so when they talk about the little bit of space we use to really think and how powerful we are, this is what they mean. We barely tap into it. And the chatter on the outside for our conscious mind is so loud, where that inner quiet mind, which is really who does all the heavy lifting in your mind, your thoughts are lifted every single minute of the day, or depressed every single minute of the day, because that's a big one right now with COVID. People have really had to dig deep and roll up their sleeves, and It's been tough. It's been a tough haul for people. But this book covers everything. There's these things that we call hypnotic hacks, and they're super fast little exercises that you can do in 30 seconds. They're so fun and they're so easy, and it literally shifts your perspective and pulls you up from where you are, whether it's despair, whether it's quandary, whether it's solutions you need. People ask a lot of time what the difference between hypnosis and meditation, or trance and meditation is. And I liken it to that meditation is zoning in, where you're actually focusing on your breath and you're pushing thoughts away. Whereas hypnosis or trance is the opposite. You're zoning out. You're daydreaming. You're letting the thoughts flood in as they come. Because you as a musician, and I love the fact that you've shared that with me anyway, is that when you have creative science, which is what music is, those inspirations, aha moments, those creative, wonderful, substantial things you do come like that.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you're trained to know that you need to be in that zone, you need to be in that place, just like a runner. You know how you always hear of runner's zone, right? They say,
Yep.
oh, I'm in the runner's zone. That's that. It's where your body's moving. You're not thinking about it consciously. Chances are you're not thinking of anything like that consciously. You're thinking about your day and your body's just moving. That's your subconscious.
Well, it's funny because the last two good songs that I wrote, both of the inspiration, that aha moment, came while I was driving on the freeway. So
there you have it.
That's that zone out space for me, which, most people can drive autonomously, but you think about it and go, God, shouldn't I be paying more attention to the road? Because
the answer is no.
Yeah.
You should not, because you just wrote two songs.
Right, and I didn't have an accident, so I was okay.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing: is we do that automatic movement without thinking. That is your subconscious. And so when I liken it to like the fire pit with the flames dancing and the child playing with the ball and all of those things that enchant us and mesmerize us and have us entranced, that is that state. So think, if you spent more time in that state, and remember, we're good at what we practice, if you spent more time in that state, imagine the power of that for your profession. I mean, it's beautiful. That is where music comes from. That is where songs come from.
Sure.
Jennifer Hudson, like I mentioned, she wrote, Kimberly inspires women to be better versions of themselves. Quincy Jones wrote a nice blurb about the book. I mean, these are people who their life is music. I have an Academy Award-winning gentleman here, Mark Mangini, that won the award for sound, and he wrote a beautiful thing about what I do. Let's see what Mark wrote. Let me find it for you. He's, all these musicians, they really get it. And I do focus a lot. People ask why I focus on high-performing clients, and I do a lot simply because, like I said before, they're really accustomed to taking direction, and they seek it out.
Yeah.
Mark Mangini. He's an Academy Award-winning sound designer. Kimberly writes about the simple truths that are essential to the mastery of any discipline, whether it's making movies or living life. As filmmakers, we learn intuitively to get in touch with how we feel and to be true to ourselves as a matter of professional survival. Kimberly recontextualizes these essential artist maxims and expands them into an intelligent instructional manual on how to live a better life. Mark Mangini, Academy Award winning sound designer. Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. You know Jennifer Harmon probably because we both live in the same town, and she's the two-time World Series of Poker Championship winner. She's a client of mine.
Oh, okay.
And she uses hypnosis. So she uses this for her poker games. She says, mother by day, champion poker player by night. Because of Kimberly, I was able to keep myself fine-tuned and balanced, allowing me to be my very best at both. You must read Kimberly's book.
I think that zone that we're talking about, it's particularly prevalent with creative artists, musicians, songwriters, authors. But there is an element of that in high-performance people, business entrepreneurs, CEOs, highly successful, motivated people. And I got a great quote I want to share with you. It was a previous guest that I had on, and he said that he did some interviews. I mean, he interviewed Oprah Winfrey, he interviewed Warren Buffett, really very wealthy, successful people. One of the things he said, and I asked him, I said, well, was there any similarity in personality traits between all of these people? And he said, all of them agreed with my quote that said that if I'm sitting in a room with a bunch of people and it's a business meeting or, some sort of productive meeting, he said, if I'm the smartest person in the room, then I'm in the wrong room. So what you said about the high performance people always want to surround themselves with people that are smarter than them. And they
for sure.
And they draw on those people and take that and run with the ball. And I think I'm seeing that happening with more and more people. I'm seeing that as being a reality. And you just you said that as well, that the high achieving people that you have want to constantly expand that to get more probably to, like you said, where the opposite of meditation, where they want more thoughts coming in. Yeah, and they need to open up their mind.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, you hit the nail on the head, because what happens is they seek out experts.
Yes.
You know, we know which lane we stay in, right? Oprah knows her lane, Warren Buffett knows his lane, so on and so forth. One of the really great quotes that I got was from a gentleman called Jonathan Wackrow, and he's a former United States Secret Service agent, the Presidential Protective Division for Obama. And so you can see the kind of people. You have to forgive my puppies in the background.
That's okay.
So she's in zone now with her subconscious too, and yes, animals have them. So he wrote, Kimberly provides a tactical yet practical pathway to connect with one's own instincts. Now remember, this is a Secret Service agent, right? Former Secret Service for Obama. Understands the linear process of the subconscious, allowing for greater focus and productivity. Kimberly's book is your manual to attain personal and professional nirvana. Now, one thing that I did that was really interesting was for CNBC Make It series, and it was about CEOs and entrepreneurs and how to go for it and how to do certain things to elevate your performance. People who are busy and people who are professional are always looking to be busier and more professional. They're looking for more things, I'd mentioned before, for tools in their toolbox. They're looking for more ways to reach that brass ring. And, you know, the ring might be this ring now and it's a different ring next week. You know, it's like peaks of a mountain. How can I get to this one, that one, and the next one? Is that we don't stop. I mean, we are literally... Today I'm here in California, and I'm here for just a brief second, and, you know, I have 3 more people to see today, you know, after we're finished. And so it's just, you don't stop. You keep going, but you somehow dig in and you get the energy for that, because the other thing that's important is energy management with your subconscious. Why would you spend in turmoil all of these years and sometimes decades in these problems when you can just flip them around with perspective? Just, you know, and weight management comes to mind. So a lot of people struggle with their weight. I call it the COVID-15 right now, because, you know, like the college 15 that everybody's put on during COVID. And what happens is we got sloppy, we got lazy, we got turned on our side a little bit, and we got a little bit confused. And so that's where all of a sudden we thought, oh, you know, I'm going to get my clarity through food, or I'm going to get my love through food, or I'm going to hug other people through food, and, you know, I'm going to make it all right with food. But when really, if you're super clear, this is when you become the athlete with your body. This is when you become fit. This is when you become healthy. This is when you really take charge of what you have. I was laughing because I'd said to the gals who run the house when we're gone, I said, you know, can you check on food and see what the food supply is? And all this is in March. And they said, Miss Kimberly, all the vegetables and everything are all still there. All the fruits and vegetable sections are good. It's all the dry goods, canned goods, and all those things that are, you know, that just seem, you know, like the junky food stuff. All of that is the stuff that's gone off the shelves. And I had to think, oh my goodness, so everybody's really going there. They are. And they did. And so instead of looking at it as, okay, we're in trouble, this could be bad, let's fortify ourselves and let's get fit. Let's look at health as our next, you know, achievement. And let's really dig in and do this. That was not the mainstream thinking. And it has to make you wonder why, you know. And so when you tap in, you realize, gosh, I feel better, I can perform better, I can survive better. I mean, we know underlying conditions and all of these things. Now is the time to get mindful for yourself. It's the most selfish book you'll ever buy. It's all about you.
Well, and that is a perfect ending, because we do have to wrap this up. My guest is Kimberly Friedmutter, and her book is called Subconscious Power. What was the subtitle? You do the rest.
Use your inner mind to create the life you've always wanted. It's available at retailers nationwide. It's available all over the internet. And for more information on what I do, KimberlyFriedmutter.com, and it's FRIEDMUTTER. And there's a newsletter, there's e-courses, there's all kinds of things. It's exciting stuff. We're entering the age of the mind, and this is the perfect way to start.
Super. I know we could have gone on for the next 3 hours, but thank you so much for coming on the show. This was great. This was a lot of fun talking to you. And you gave me a new perspective. Hi, puppies.
Hi, puppy.
How many you got in there? Just one?
Well, it's interesting because this puppy that travels with me, she's a soul. So we lost her physical. This is a whole nother realm of this, but we lost her physical body a few years back, and so I called her soul back into another puppy, and this is her. And we've had her now for about 6 years. Okay. And you can do that. I don't do it with people, but we do it with puppies. It works fabulous. So if you miss your pet, there is a way to enjoy your pet in the body of a younger, not sick pet.
I knew there was something about you I liked, because I always have my 2 dogs in the studio with me when I do the audio show. And they're right here on the floor.
I was just going to say real quick, I actually hypnotized Pearl. This is Pearl that's with me now, but I actually hypnotized her to see when her puppies would be born, because she then created puppies. And she told me the exact day, and they were born on that day. So she had a 1 in 7 chance of getting it right, and she did. So for whatever it's worth, the dogs have a very strong subconscious as well.
Oh, they constantly amaze me. Absolutely amaze me on what they remember. I swear dogs never forget anything. If you do something one time, they'll expect you to do it again. They get your routine down before you do. It's so funny. It is just amazing.
I believe that. I believe that. I love that you're a dog lover.
You know what? There's a great quote by Mark Twain. He said, "The more I get to know people, the better I like my dog." And I think that...
Oh, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. That's so true.
He was quite ahead of his time. We do have to wrap this up, though. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This was a lot of fun. Best of luck with your book and everything.
I adore you.